We are Jim and Jennifer Nickel, and we go to the North Fort Worth campus. And we have 3 boys.
I felt like we were starting to check the boxes as a family going to church. And then one morning after dropping them off at school, Fellowship at the Park's marquee caught my attention. I felt like that was a sign from God that this was our opportunity to help our boys grow in their faith. We would go over the discussion cards, questions, and the back, and we would go around and talk about how we personally were impacted by the message and how we were going to apply it to our lives.
My younger brother was just an amazing college football coach. He had just landed his dream job with Lincoln Riley to go to USC and start turning that program around. He had Crohn's disease, and so he wasn't feeling well when they headed out there in January of 2022. 3 weeks into that, I get a phone call from him, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 cholangiocarcinoma, which is a very rare cancer. So I moved out there to pretty much help him fight for his life at that point. We didn't even make it 90 days into the battle before he passed away. It was the saddest, most broken I had ever been as an individual. And I mean, he was my hero. He was my boys' hero. They just idolized him. He was such a good man, such a good person. So when we went to Undivided, you know, Kevin and Kat Casey led that, and they talked about men's group. And when we left that weekend retreat from Undivided, Jennifer was like, maybe you should, you know, reach out to a men's group. Maybe you should see if they have like grievance counseling or a group of men that you might be able to share your story with. And I decided to go. And I'd never been to anything like that before. What is this going to be like? Who are these guys going to be? What do they talk about? I went that Monday night. They said, hey, we're glad you're here. Do you want to share anything? So I did. I just felt like I needed to get it off my chest, so I shared the story about my brother. After men's group that night, Jason Bean and Darren Kirsten came up to me afterwards, and Jason Bean just said, hey, I lost my baby brother 7 years ago. I'm here if you ever need anything. And that's all I needed to hear. I mean, it was just calming, like, God put me in that room for a purpose. Once I started going to men's group regularly, there was a group of us that decided, hey, we should do the dinner for 8. It's that time of year for us to do dinner for 8. And so the wives could meet each other, and we could kind of try that. And then from that, it led to our dinner for 8 group saying, hey, we have a small group, and there's a couple different couples from the marriage ministry and the men's group. It just opened us up to so many different people, so many different couples.
The biggest reward has just been watching my whole family grow in our faith. How we went from checking the boxes to walking our walk and just seeing all the blessings that have come from it. I'm really glad I paid attention to what I thought was a sign from God that morning. It took us a while to get here and get involved.
Anybody that's watching, I would just tell them, don't wait. There's so many people out there in our church that are just like Jen and I, that if you commit and take that first step, it can be life-changing.